From WisPolitics in Madison, you're listening to Capital Chats.
Hello, everybody. This is Kate Morton with WisPolitics here with a Capital Chats podcast brought to you by Spectrum. Today, I'm in the Madison office with my colleague Adam Kellenhofer to talk about a conversation he had with Assembly Minority Leader Greta Neubauer. So, Adam, what did you guys talk about?
Hi, Kate. Yeah, so Representative Neubauer and I got to talk primarily about what her and her caucus plan to do with the rest of the year, and we also talked a little bit about how the new legislative maps might impact how Dems go about getting things done. So let's just jump right into the interview. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's WisPolitics Capital Chats. Today, I am joined by Assembly Minority Leader Greta Neubauer. She is a Democrat from Racine. So welcome to the show, Representative Neubauer.
Thanks so much for having me, Adam. Glad to join you.
Yeah, of course. It's awesome to have you on. So I know the kind of legislative session has pretty much wrapped up here for the year, but what are you and the rest of your caucus trying to get done for the rest of the year?
Throughout this session, we have focused on three major priorities. The first is protecting Governor Evers' veto. The Assembly Democrats are able to do that by just 2 votes. And while Republicans have said we're done for the legislative session, we, of course, have to remain vigilant and ensure that no veto overrides are taken up over the next couple of months. Then we also continue to work on our proactive vision for Wisconsin. We know that there are many things that the people of Wisconsin would like us to do in the legislature that have not even been considered. And so while legislative business might be done for the year, we are going to continue to talk about those policies that Wisconsinites are asking again and again for us to consider. Things like adequately investing in our public schools and funding special education, expanding Medicaid and lowering costs of prescription drugs, ensuring that every community is a safe and welcoming place to live. Many, many things top of mind, right, for people in Wisconsin that we think we can do more on. And so we're going to continue to have those conversations with people across the state and talk about what we are going to accomplish next session. And then, of course, we continue to try to find opportunities to get things done wherever we can. So some committees will still meet, and there'll be some work on those bipartisan bills that didn't quite make it across the finish line this session. We continue to work with our colleagues across the aisle whenever we can on those priorities. And then, of course, we're going to be getting outside the building quite a bit and working to pick up more seats this cycle. We're going for a Democratic majority in the state assembly. And so that will be a major priority for our caucus.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I was actually going to ask a little bit about the maps because, it does seem like Democrats are going to get quite a boost out of those maps. How much of a boost do you think you're going to get? Do you think you're going to get within a few seats of a majority here, or actually a majority?
So we certainly are competing for a majority. Of the 99 seats in the state assembly, Governor Evers won 52 in his last run. President Biden won 49. That means that these seats are extremely close and very competitive. And we see a path to the majority this cycle. We are talking to hundreds of people across the state of Wisconsin who want to run for election this year, both in those bluer seats, in the redder seats, and then, of course, in those extremely purple ones that are right on that line of the majority. So having great conversations with folks, and of course, people who are so excited about seeing competitive races in parts of the state that have not seen them in many, many years. It has been over a decade since we've had competitive maps in Wisconsin that allowed both parties a reasonable opportunity to get the majority. And it really is incredibly inspiring to me to talk to these folks who have been working year after year to get fair maps, to have better representation, and now are going to have the opportunity to run really competitive races, to hold their elected officials accountable, and hopefully to win and provide real representation for their communities.
All right. Since we're, talking about recruiting candidates, have you decided whether you're going to run again or not yet?
I will be running. Yes, I've got a district that's quite different than the one I represented historically. My district used to really be a city of Racine district. Now it's got some city, but it also goes out Elmwood Park, Sturtevant, and Mount Pleasant, Franksville. So I'll be getting out, knocking on doors, talking to folks, making sure that I will be able to earn their support this fall.
All right, that is definitely some news. I guess are you do you think so? It seems like President Joe Biden is going to be in Wisconsin quite a bit this summer. We're definitely a battleground state. Do you think is his visit or are his visits, are they going to boost any, statewide or state legislative office candidates on the Dem party at all, or do you think that's going to maybe cause some divisions or boost anyone?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're always really excited to have the president come to town. Of course, today he is in Milwaukee talking about a significant investment in complete streets and making Milwaukee's uh, neighborhoods more walkable, right? And allowing people to bike and have more accessible transportation. So really when Biden comes to town, it's usually to talk about the investments that he's made in our communities and future investments that are coming. And that, of course, is welcome in all of our communities. The infrastructure investments that have been made in Racine, investments in our community health clinic, and many other elements of our physical infrastructure, of course, have been incredibly welcome and helped us weather some difficult times financially in Racine. So look forward to having the president visit. We, of course, are going to be working very closely with our other Democrats on the ballot to ensure that the folks who turn out for the state assembly vote for everybody up the ticket. And I know they're going to do vice versa. One of our greatest strengths as assembly candidates is that our districts are a size that means that we can actually get out and knock on the door of every person who we need to vote for us. And we know that that is the most persuasive thing that can be done in any election, the candidate knocking on the door of the voter. And so we are going to do everything we can to be helpful to the other folks on the ticket. And as I said, I know that they're going to do the same.
All right. So there are generally, incumbents usually have a little bit of a boost when going into an election, and Dems are actually losing quite a few incumbent candidates here. I mean, with the maps changing, incumbent definition can be a little bit hard to pin down, but there are a lot of familiar faces that are in the Assembly Dem caucus right now who won't be returning. Are you worried that might hurt Dems', effort to get a majority in the legislature?
Sure. So, of course, it's always tough to lose our colleagues, especially when so many of them have just been incredible representatives, working so hard on behalf of their constituents and in this caucus to pass good legislation, to put forward that vision for what we know Wisconsinites need and deserve. The people who are retiring in our caucus are not in what we would consider to be the most competitive seats. They're not on our target list. And interestingly, we haven't seen too many Republican retirements yet. Well, I'm sure we'll see some of those soon. But the folks on our side are people who are running for other offices, which of course we encourage and support. People from the Assembly Democratic Caucus have gone on to do many things, including be congressional representatives and U.S. senators as well. And then we've got some folks who have reached kind of the end of their career, right? And they're ready to go spend some more time with their families, travel, do other things. So certainly understand that. And as I said, really have been getting incredible response from people who are excited to run. We're going to see a number of competitive primaries in new Democratic seats and seats where we've got retirements. People know that there's an opportunity that has not existed for many years, and that is to be in a position to govern in the majority as a Democratic representative. And so people are very excited about that.
All right, perfect. So last question, if you had to pick one bill, even if it's not been introduced before, or you just, create a new bill that you want to get passed next session, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question. There are so many bills that we really want to see across the finish line. I think something I've worked on for a number of years that so many people across the state have been focused on is Medicaid expansion. That is a policy that not only means that more people in Wisconsin, thousands of additional people have accessible coverage, right, that is not breaking the bank, And it's bringing additional dollars into Wisconsin for us to invest in mental health care, in postpartum, in so many other things that Wisconsinites have been asking us to work on. So Medicaid expansion is huge for us. I'll also just quickly note that Racine and many communities across the state really need additional investment in our public schools. And so I would love to see a significant increase in school funding, particularly in special education, but that's a huge priority for the people of Wisconsin.
All right, got it. That is all I have time for, but I really appreciate you coming on the show. Representative Neubauer, it was a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Adam, thanks for sharing that interview with us. In the meantime, if our listeners want to learn more about these new legislative maps and upcoming legislative races, they can head to our website at wispolitics.com.
That's right, Kate, but for now, I'm Adam Kelnhofer.
I'm Kate Morton.
Thanks for tuning in to WisPolitics Capital Chats, brought to you by Spectrum.